Draw your sword, knock your arrows, and ready your spellbook. It's time for another episode of the Gamesmen. What role will you play?
Okay guys, hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Gamesmen RPG podcast. We're here to play games and do stuff like that, but this week's a little bit different. We'll get onto that a bit later. But at the moment, obviously, the triumvirate of gaming and talking is back here with obviously myself, Amorous89 and Yoda the Third, and we're just going to start off with telling you about what we've been up to this past week, and then we'll be moving on to something a bit different because we're interviewing a chap called Brendan from Brain and Nerd about their upcoming game Predestination. So, Yoda, what have you been up to? How are you doing?
I've been playing a lot of Battlefield 4, actually.
Yeah?
I went on a binge this weekend since it was double XP weekend, and I probably logged about 12 and a half hours.
Yeah, that's not bad going.
Yeah, I went from rank 20 to 28 in a little under 8 hours.
Nice. So mainly playing what?
PS4.
What kind of game mode? And
I play Rush, Domination. Give me them tags, son. That's my favorite mode, actually. Running up and knifing people. And then sending them PSN messages telling them what worthless piles of crap they are. And then I actually traded in Mario and Sonic at the Sriracha Games and Mario and Luigi Dream Team for Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. And it's really good. I really like playing that game with controller versus mouse and keyboard.
Now, is there any way you could capture it on your PS4 and maybe capture on your PC, like the first little bit, and maybe put it side by side to see if it looks any better than a PC version?
There's a couple ones out there. The trees and foliage move a whole lot more in the PS4 version than the PC version.
And she seems to look a little bit cleaner.
Huh?
The
things get as dirty?
Yeah, well, the way they actually have that system working with the way she gets grubby going, it's a little bit more subtle and looks more realistic.
Her boobs look really natural on the PS4 version.
But does her hair move amazingly?
Her hair does move amazingly. And when she's wet, it just looks great.
Now, I wonder if they fixed that from the PC version, because I put what was that called? Tress Effects, I think?
Yeah.
I put
they
that
were
on.
AMD, weren't they?
Yes. Yeah, because it didn't work very well on NVIDIA, and I had to turn it off because it just killed my computer. But her hair was so natural and crazy that it just went everywhere. Oh my god, it was horrible. But like the slightest bit of wind or someone hit it, it'd be like just fly up in the air and shit.
Well, it worked fantastically on my budget AMD rig, so there we go.
I just wish
in the PC market.
Yeah, I just wish like everyone could kind of be the same, so like you don't have to have I guess a customization for if it's either like a AMD or NVIDIA.
Yeah, so
you don't have to do like a patch or something for that.
But there's always going to be a difference between AMD and NVIDIA with all the whole physics stuff that NVIDIA has.
It is a war master race. Master.
I actually made $2 on trading my game in, so I actually didn't pay anything for Tomb Raider.
Yeah, very nice. Has it been up to anything else? Just gaming or?
Just gaming, school, and work. Living the dream. Yeah. Oh, plus I got my new Snowball mic. Well, it's not new. It was in Steve's JSS Lifelike's
closet
of death. So it was in there for a while.
Closet of I can't podcast anymore. Oh.
Sad face.
He actually goes. Well, I guess I'll get to that whenever I talk about what I've been playing, because that kind of goes with it.
Well, yeah, it's nice to know that part of Steve's equipment lives on in the Gamesmen podcast.
It is.
Yeah, I was telling Josh earlier, I was like, yeah, Steve was going to get to me, but I was like, I don't have a room where I can podcast and not have noise around me, so he'll pick up everything. Like, whenever we did the Game of the Year shows and everything, that mic would pick up everything around it, like the audience talking and all that. It would be horrible in a room where the wife couldn't be talking to her friends or whatever, and then, like, the TV going on in the background. I mean, she doesn't talk whenever I'm podcasting, so it's fine. But if, she's watching Big Bang Theory right now, and there could be a funny part, and she'll, bust out laughing, and then you'll hear it. And that'll have to get cut from the podcast, so nobody will know, except us.
Well, since you're talking, what have you been playing, Gary?
I hate
and how have you been doing? Stuff like that.
Oh, I've been doing wonderful. It sucks you didn't introduce me, like at the very beginning, what you've been doing, because I was going to go, I'm obese! Because I just did We Fit before the podcast, trying to get everything set up, and that I want to punch that damn We Fit board in the face-ish.
You're mad because you're fat.
I am very fat. Speaking of fat,
I can't say anything. I'm eating potato chips and sour cream right now.
That's what I hate. I'm not eating any fat food. But we just got a exercise bike, and Dan heard me vigorously working out earlier.
He actually sounded like he was sweating before he got on the machine.
It sounded like he was watching porn.
He's getting a workout just before he even gets on it. He gets on it, and he's like, man, that was a workout.
Picking up your leg is not that easy, okay? Straddling that damn frame. But, we got this bike. I'm so disappointed in myself because I used to be able to go, pretty long cycling and everything. I mean, I wasn't really trying to just got the bike put together. And I got on to see how it was working and everything. And I went a mile, and I was breathing kind of heavily. And I've ran miles and shit before on treadmills, ellipticals, doing a bunch of the bike stuff. And just doing a mile, I was breathing pretty heavily. And it's just because I haven't done anything in forever. So I'm kind of... I know that I was going to be out of shape and everything, but I am just horribly out of shape, and it just it makes me sad.
I always used to be as a friend of mine, Rich, off because he works as a cameraman basically, and before he got to where he is now, where he doesn't have to do so much carrying heavy stuff around, he got pretty fit, carrying all this heavy camera equipment around, setting everything up, on his feet all day at work. And he'd come down, we'd go surfing, and I spent, most of my time sleeping, playing video games, or cooking for my mother. And we'd go surfing, and I'd be out there for ages, and he'd be like, I've got to go in, I'm getting tired. And I'm like, but it's brilliant now, so yeah, I'll be back in a minute. And an hour and a half later, he'd come back in, and I'd still be surfing. And he's like, I don't understand how you do it. And I was like, I just,
Yeah, I think if I ever come over there, I'm coming over in the summer, and we're going surfing.
Yeah, we can try going snowboarding in the summer in Devon. But
hey, you can go snowboarding anytime, but it's normally just called boarding. Actually, I can't remember what they're called. Whenever I worked at summer camp and shit, cope is what they're called. Where they do this whole kind of thing. A bunch of different crazy stuff like rock wall climbing and anything. Anyway, but they do this downboard kind of. It's like skateboarding on a. Yeah. Oh, it's called mountain boarding. That's what it is.
Yeah. And you can mountain board around here, down the hills.
Mountain boarding was awesome. Because I was a staff member, I just kind of went outside, kicked the kid off their mountain board, and took over. And I went down the hill, and it was so much fun. I wish I could do that more. I want to get a real snowboard and everything so I can do that kind of stuff. Because that is just, it's so much fun. I love being outside and doing crazy activities that can get me killed. Yeah. other than I don't have enough time because I'm gaming, I don't have enough time in life and money to buy this kind of equipment because this stuff is expensive. And my parents have a nice little hill that you can mount more down, and it would be awesome. Snowboarding outfit, I actually told a person at work this week, because he asked me about snowboarding. And whenever I used to snowboard, we used to build a gigantic ramp, because it's got like a slope and then another slope, and then goes flat for a little bit and another slope. So at that flat spot, we built a huge ramp, and we just go flying off it. We used to ice the hill and take sleds down, and you'd be going so fast, like you could probably go over like 15 feet or something like that. It's just insane. Nice. And my brother, when we were younger, there used to be a fence at the bottom. My brother plowed through the fence and went down over the hill with trees and everything, and almost went onto the road and got hit by a car. It was awesome. I just wish I could do more stuff like that. I just don't have the money to get all this stuff for it.
Yeah. Well, coming up to the UK for the summer to go surfing is probably going to cost more. In fact, it's definitely going to cost more.
Yeah, but I want to surf with somebody that I know than just going out there and trying and getting destroyed.
Yeah, that's a good way to never surf ever again. Anyway, enough about extreme sports and all that malarkey. What have you been playing?
Extreme sports. I haven't played much, really.
You've played 100% more than I've played this week.
True. Not really that much. I played Saints Row 4, and I started it on Friday, played it for like 8... let's go on Steam real fast. Let's see. On Steam, it says for Saints Row, I've played 25 hours. I've played 25 hours since Friday. Actually, the game says I played 16 hours, so I had it on for like 6 hours, or 10 hours without even doing anything. But that game is so incredibly stupid and insane and funny. I loved it so much. Yeah. Oh my god. Just the stuff that they do in it, the like ties to the Matrix and stuff like that are hilarious. The romancing part is fucking weird. It's great. I love it. I have to get the DLC because I liked it so much.
Yeah, me too.
I think Danzel's pissed off at me because I said on Friday night, I was like, I bet you I can beat it before you. And I did.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I've not been feeling too good over the weekend. I haven't played much, although I have put in quite a lot more hours than you for some reason. According to Raptor, I've played it for 32 hours.
Which is crazy because I did every single side mission, everything you could do. Every single side mission, every single activity in that game. The only thing I haven't done is the collectibles. I'm thinking about going back just to do those too. Because I'm weird. The audio logs that show up in there are kind of cool to listen to. So I may want to listen to the rest of those because I've gotten like 2 of a few of them and 1 of some of them and kind of want to know what they're talking about.
Cool.
I don't know. I'm just weird like that. But the other game I just started playing and I played for an hour today, if that, was Final Fantasy XIII-2. And I put it on, and me and the wife were just watching the opening cutscene and everything, and was like, because Final Fantasy, they always look beautiful. They look insane. The graphics they do on those are crazy. But I just put a little bit into it. I did the very opening of it. Actually, it's funny. We watched the opening, like as soon as you turn it on, they do pretty much the opening scene of the game. And as soon as it did that, I finally started the game. And then it does the whole thing again, and we're watching it. I was like, oh, they actually have voice acting in it now. So we had to watch the whole thing again anyway. And then I did the whole first part of the game and got to the next part. It's been out for like a year, so I'll just say it. You play as Lightning, and then whenever you get a next part, you're playing as her sister Sarah. So I got to that part, and I did like a couple fights, and now I'm traveling to a crater or something. But the game looks amazing. I've always loved Final Fantasy's gameplay or whatever. So, or gameplay and graphics and all that stuff they do. So I'm hooked again. I probably not gonna happen because I have to put probably 100 hours into it to beat the game. But Final Fantasy or the Lightning Returns game comes out on the 7th of February, I think. So I won't be beating it by then, but I do have to play a demo because I think you get something for playing the demo. And I did download that, so I'll probably jump into it after I get a little bit into the game. Because I
just remembered, I think I tried it Eurogamer. What's it? Oh no, I didn't. It was something else I tried that was
They actually have
based. Lightning or something. Lightning Return. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, Lightning Returns is the game that comes out next month.
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
I saw a screenshot with her with like Cloud's sword, so I was like, immediate orgasm, because I love Final Fantasy XIII, and I can't wait for Fangasm. Yeah, but I can't wait for Final Fantasy X and X2 HD remastered, because I will definitely be getting that. I would say that's my second favorite Final Fantasy game. My favorite is 7, and my second would be X. X2, I didn't like. I think I'll give it another shot now that I'm a little bit more open to gaming than I was back then with it. I just thought maybe it was because it was so much different than any of the Final Fantasy games I played in the past. Because it was more missions than side quests, I think. That's why it was so weird. But I'll definitely probably play X2 finally for the first time. Because I only played it for like 4 hours or something, then I gave up on it. But that's really it for my gaming. It's sad because like lately I've had like 100 games I'd be talking about, but this time I only have 2. Because I've just been playing Saints Row so much. And between editing the podcast and overtime at work and everything, I haven't had time for shit. So, that's it for me. Dan, what have you been doing, sir?
Trying to fix some PCs. I've actually got them all cleared now. My house has only got my bits in it now. I came up with a cool idea to use with some of these old PC cases that I've got around, so I'm going to buy some tools in the next couple of weeks and make myself a proper test bench. For, probably no reason, because I probably won't ever use it that much, but you never know. We might end up doing stuff like that on this show. That would be pretty damn cool.
What do you mean videos for it. Test bench?
Like a PC case that's inside out, so all the bits are on the outside, so you can plug cards in and try, do tests and stuff.
What would you put on the inside of the case then? The monitor screen. There we go.
Well, no, kind of on the inside you'd have the power supply with the leads coming out inside, and maybe a couple of drives or something that are the standard parts, and then you've got your motherboard on the top surface, and then you can, plug in graphics cards and easily swap stuff around so you can do benchmark tests on different cards and things, stuff like that. I don't know why, I just fancy having one. So I thought might as well make one, be cheaper than buying one. But yeah, other than that, the usual kind of stuff, not sleeping, and then sleeping too much, and playing one game, which has been Saints Row 4.
You have no idea how horrible it's been this week with me at work and not sleeping. Like, I have probably passed out a few times this week just from not sleeping.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it happens to me all the time. But yeah, I mean, I've watched a hell of a lot of Star Trek. Whenever I felt tired and thought, I'll go to bed, I get to bed and then suddenly I'm wide awake again. So a bit of Star Trek sends me right off to sleep. Normally.
I feel you on the not sleeping part. I think I had a half hour to play some Battlefield.
Yeah.
It ended up
4.5
being 8
hours
hours
later passed, playing with my clan, and then woke up the next morning and I don't even remember how I got to school.
Well,
I got to work. I got to class, and they're like, "Yeah, right." I'm like, "I'm not awake. Don't talk to me."
That sounds like someone whenever I'm really, really drunk. I'm like, man, how did I end up here?
Well, for example, last night I got home really tired. Just thought, you know what, I'm just going straight to bed. Went straight to bed, put TV on, Star Trek, and started watching it. Started kind of dozing off for a bit. At about 2 a.m. I finally fell asleep, and then I woke up at 4 a.m. and couldn't get back to sleep. And yeah, I've been awake since then. Looking forward to bed again, but I know what's going to happen. I'll end up not sleeping until about 6, 7 in the morning and being really annoyed tomorrow and crotchety. But yeah, Saints Row 4, really enjoying it. Absolutely fantastic. You know, everything you said earlier, as well as, you know, the Matrix stuff. There's also like loads of different homages to old school games and genres. And well, yeah, so pretty short and sweet this bit, but we do have coming up after the break special interview. So keep listening after the break, and yeah, we'll be back with Brendan Drain from Brain and Nerd about their upcoming game Predestination. Hey guys, welcome back, and with us we have Mr. Brendan Drain from Brain and Nerd. You are the director of said company, aren't you? Are you not, sir?
Yeah.
Love you.
Yeah.
And you're here, I guess, mainly to talk about Predestination and tell us all why we need to get it. I'm super excited about it. I've already bought 2 copies.
Nice. Buy some more.
Yeah.
How many copies have I bought? Because I just Kickstarted for $50, so.
That'll be one.
Oh, that's the only one?
Lots.
Yeah, I completely forgot what I was going to say. Okay, so to start off, why don't you tell us a bit about you, the company, and the game you're making? You know, let us know where you're coming from and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, cool. Well, the game is called Predestination. It's a turn-based space 4X game, based on kind of like old games like Master of Orion and some of the newer games like the new Civilization series, the newer games in that series. We're trying to merge a lot of the new kind of gameplay elements and improvements and new graphics with kind of the old gameplay style that we all kind of grew up with.
Yeah.
Because there hasn't been, I don't think there's been a proper turn-based 4X game in a long time apart from Civ.
Yeah, especially nothing in space for bloody ages.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty addicted to my space games. I've been playing Eve since 2004 and stuff, but whenever a new Space 4X game comes out, I jump right on it. Every time I'm disappointed by one feature or another. Like, most of them are real time. Some of them, if they're turn based, they'll like focus really well on one part of the game, and then say the combat will be completely lacking, or the colonization won't be that interesting. So my goal is to get all of those elements into one game.
It's a pretty lofty goal.
I love my strategy games a lot, so I'm excited.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it is a lot of elements to get in. So we've got like your typical screen galaxy management and diplomacy and all that. And then we've got turn-based tactical fleet combat, which is something that's usually missing in modern 4X games. And we've got a more detailed planetary colonization gameplay where you have to explore planets and find resources on them and then develop colonies to use those resources. So each planet will be set up slightly differently.
Now, am I right in thinking these planets are procedurally generated? So that
yep, completely procedurally generated.
Yeah.
And we're trying to make things as moddable as possible. So, for example, everything is done from base stuff that's in plain text files, or just textures that are loaded in.
Fantastic.
As images. So, I mean, anyone can mod that. All the UI, all images that are loaded in, so that's all moddable. We're trying to do as much as we can to let people just mess around with the game.
And make it the exact game they want. So that if they wanted to, for example, they could make it into almost like a Star Wars universe game if they had the right textures and images and things.
Technically, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we obviously we can't tell people
obviously
that you
you
can
can't
do that
tell
and stuff
people
for copyright reasons. But I mean, if someone wanted to say put in Star Wars ships or something, that'd be entirely up to them.
Yeah.
You know, I think that the whole what would it be? Modding is like a big thing with people on PCs and everything. There are so many people that'll do that. Especially like if people love the game, there are people that'll just mod everything. Like say Skyrim, people mod the shit out of Skyrim and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So like modding is a big thing with everyone.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. We are just focused on PC platform, and it just makes sense.
Oh yeah, I can imagine the terrible decisions and cutting down the controls to put it onto a console. It would just be a nightmare trying to figure out all those combinations of buttons you'd have to press for different things. And
I don't think. I mean, it would be interesting to try, but I don't think a 4X game would really work on a console. It would work now on a touch screen or something.
Yeah, I mean, we've all tried them in the past, and they've just been lacking so much in the speed you can do things, or the amount of sub menus you've got to go through, and it just becomes a nightmare because you can't have the keyboard shortcuts. You know, even a basic keyboard's got 102 keys there. So, but
exactly.
So one thing I'm interested in, what came about with making Brain and Nerd? How much experience have you guys had? Is this like your first game? Have you been doing other stuff previously?
So this is the first game that I've ever actually tried to finish. Put it like that. I mean, I got a master's degree in computer science, and throughout that I was working on game projects of my own, or and then group projects, and just trying to get as much independent game development experience as I could. After uni, I did research on terrain generation, which ended up forming the basis for the planets in Predestination.
Must have come in pretty damn handy.
Exactly. So, I mean, I did a lot of little experiments and procedural generations. So, like the background in the game is procedurally generated, the planets, the star map, everything, and then I kind of just put this all together into a sci-fi game engine. And at the time, actually, I was thinking of doing like a sandbox game, kind of like single player EVE Online, or like kind of like Elite, because I mean at the time Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous and all those hadn't even been announced. So and I grew up with playing Frontier on the old Amiga.
I had a 500 plus, and I
had 600. Actually, I recently just a while ago bought an old, I guess, 1200 and a copy of Frontier just to get back into it. But I mean, I grew up with games like that, and there hadn't been one in a while, so I was going to make one of those. And then we just kind of all sat down and talked about it, and we decided there's no way we could do that on a small budget, even though I had like the game engine already done and a lot of the elements already in. There's no way we could really do a proper sandbox with a low budget, and we had no budget at the time.
Well, don't worry. After this game takes off really, really well, you know, after you get 1 million people buying it and everything, you'll be able to do your second game.
Well, that's if it does well. Yeah, that's the plan, is to funnel the profit back into a second game, whatever that might be.
Yeah, don't say if. It's gonna do amazing.
Hopefully.
Well, that, I guess, brings us nicely round to Kickstarter, and I guess it's pretty obvious why you chose that path.
Yeah.
But were you expecting to have the kind of response it's had? And because I was looking at like, forums and on Steam, there's a huge amount of goodwill behind Predestination.
Yeah, I did not expect people to be as supportive as they have been. The fans have been absolutely amazing so far. Especially, we have some people who, for our original Kickstarter, put in like $1,000 to get their race in the game, and we'll be working with them very soon to get their races in. People who paid like $500 to design a little single player level. And so many people just pre-ordering the game on the basis of what we had to show, which at the time was a very early prototype.
Yeah, I know. I remember, and I was still kind of like, "Oh, this is going to be brilliant."
Have you got? Have you gotten a lot of like user feedback over it? Like,
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Actually, we've back then we had very early prototypes of all the various game mechanics to show off. But since then, obviously, they've been in development for a long time now. We've put together 2 betas that we've put out to our backers, to any of the backers who pledged $40 or above. And one was a test of the tactical fleet combat system, and the other was our basically experimental planetary colonization gameplay. There hasn't been a deep colonization gameplay mechanic in a 4X game for quite a while, so we weren't sure how it would be received, and we've had a ton of feedback on both that and the fleet combat, mostly positive, and the negatives are usually just things like, the UI needs some work, and things that we can then iterate on, and we've incorporated into the game now. It was pretty awesome to see all the feedback from backers.
Yeah, that's nice.
Obviously, you're quite critical about the genre and what you were expecting from it. Has any of the feedback come up with stuff that you hadn't thought before? Or
yeah, definitely. I mean,
yeah.
For most companies, I would guess the beta stages are just an excuse to show off their game and draw up some interest. But I mean, when we say beta, we really do mean it's a beta. It's practically an alpha. We put out these tests to check if the game will even run on people's computers, to check, to just test our basic game design notions. If we put out that planet colonization system, for example, and people said, yeah, it's too confusing, it doesn't work, I don't understand it, we'd have to pretty much go back to the drawing board, because it's one thing us knowing how to use it, that we developed it. It's another thing putting it to actually test on people. I mean, we really need that kind of feedback to keep developing.
Especially when there are people that may never have played that genre of game before and don't understand a lot of the basics.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing of getting people that, you know, are going to be the ones that are going to play your game. Just them telling you that, like, you know, what they're having problems with, what they don't understand, and really can help you figure out what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've already had one round of iteration on both of the betas based on people's feedback, so it really, really helped us. Now we're moving toward our third and final beta stage, which is the whole game, everything combined together with the galaxy map and everything. We were aiming for the end of the month on that. If we can't meet that, then we'll put out an update to let people know. But that'll be the first time the whole game will have come together for people. Really
looking forward to, getting back into it.
Is there going to be a Steam workshop in this for mods and stuff?
Well, that's one of the things actually I was looking at. I mean, I would love to get the game on Steam and integrate it with the workshop and everything, but we pretty much have to go through Greenlight.
And that's something we might as well mention. If you're listening to this, you should get on Steam right now and greenlight it. So get up there.
We've been quite high on Greenlight for the last couple of cycles of games getting greenlit, and we've been passed over each time. I mean, quite a few games have been passed over, but now we're in the top 10, so fingers crossed for the next wave. I know Valve's trying to get rid of Greenlight entirely and go just simple self-publishing route.
Going to ask you about your views of that. It seems really weird. You know, Greenlight's been, what, a year and a half, 2 years around? Maybe a little longer, I can't really remember. And now they're just like, nah, we've had enough. And it's like...
I like it. Well, I like
Greenlight was originally... It was originally just a way to whittle down the number of submissions they were getting, because they were just getting overwhelmed. Yeah. Just a way to cut out the crap, basically.
And the way that
but they just ignored it for far too long.
Yeah. But, you know, the idea behind it I thought was brilliant, because, you know, it allowed the community to say, actually, yeah, we want this. We don't want another generic shooter.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think that's fantastic. And whenever games did get through Greenlight, then Valve obviously pushed them the same way they would push any other game, and they do well. The issue now is that if they're getting rid of Greenlight, they're obviously not going to be pushing the games as hard. I mean, they've just greenlit hundreds of games. Are they going to give each one of those the same individual attention?
It does seem like they're trying to get through the backlog.
I think it's literally just they're trying to clear out a 2-year backlog of games, and they're just going to move to straight self-publishing, where developers will be given the bare minimum help to get their game on Steam, and then it's up to them to market it, etc. themselves. Yeah. I suppose that makes more sense as a publishing model, and I'd rather be able to self-publish and know that I can self-publish rather than having to go through this Greenlight process where there's no feedback, there's no two ways. We just have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I suppose if you're actually making a game with a publisher on board, you'd be getting, you know, help and feedback from the publisher, and they'd be saying, actually, a lot of it would probably be against your game. They'd be like, oh, we need to streamline to this because this demographic says that we need to do this, and that would be really freaking annoying, because it's not generally 13-year-old kids that play 4X games. I mean, there are a lot of 13-year-old kids, obviously, that do play them, but not as many as play them,
it's quite a niche genre, I'd say.
Yeah, and it's definitely one that appeals to the more cerebral kind of players. You know. Yeah,
especially turn-based. It's very strategic, not just build lots of
the modern version of chess, almost, really, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's kind of one of the inspirations as well for the Fleet Combat, was kind of, can we make an awesome hexagonal chess where you invent your own chess pieces effectively?
Yeah. How many? This is. Sorry.
No,
how
go ahead.
Big of is this just single player or multiplayer?
Well, our original Kickstarter campaign, we asked for 25,000 just to complete the basic game, and we ended up getting quite a few stretch goals on that one and getting up to 50,000. So one of the stretch goals was multiplayer. That means we will get that in, whether that's at launch or as a free patch after launch, is yet to be determined. But we will have a single player campaign, a basic sandbox mode, where that's your standard 4X mode, where you just set up a randomized galaxy and play with various victory conditions, and then we're also going to have your multiplayer, different multiplayer modes. We're planning to add hot seat, play by email, and hopefully full online multiplayer, but we'll see how that goes.
Now, obviously, you might have seen the Steam chat with Josh here, and there's bound to be a lot of other people. I know a lot of our listeners are console gamers and play a lot of shooters, so perhaps if you could explain to them what you mean by some of those terms, that would help them understand
I actually looked up 4X because I was like,
I
never knew that term, but I know
4X.
I know the games. Just never heard it referred to as 4X.
Okay, like strategy games, like 4X stands for am I getting this right? Explore, expand, exploit, exterminate.
Yeah, and it actually came as a pun on XXX rating for porn, didn't it? But,
did it actually?
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh. It was. I think the term was originally coined for. Was it the original Master of Orion?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
What's that?
And
well, it's kind of a strategy game where you've got this empire to manage, and there's a lot of like you have to explore and find resources and build up your empire, and then there's these other races and other enemies in the game doing the exact same, and then eventually your borders will meet their borders, and you'll have some diplomacy or war or whatever way you want to get to your ultimate goal, which will be one of the victory conditions, such as destroy all the other races. That's a victory condition. You could have a diplomatic victory where everyone's at peace for so many turns. Or
here's some. Is there going to be like achievements like on like Steam achievements where if you do something,
Gary loves his achievements.
Not as much. Not as much as I used to. But I'm just wondering if there's going to be like Steam achievements where have diplomacy throughout the game, like all throughout the game, or fight everyone throughout the game, destroy the whole world.
Oh yeah, we definitely want to put in achievements.
I don't know how that works. Like, if you want to put in achievements, is there a certain way you have to do that?
Oh well, if the game gets on Steam, they have their own API for that.
Okay.
That hooks their servers into the game for getting achievements. Otherwise, we would just have to do it ourselves, and just to develop that in the game ourselves. Have like a little achievement pane that just keeps track of them all.
Okay. Yeah, like I think that'd be kind of cool. If people really do like achievements, trying to play just as a diplomatic kind of space.
Yeah, like a challenge.
I don't even know what that'd be called. Space regime.
Space Empire.
Yeah, there we go. Space Empire. Yeah, like just trying to play a certain way to try to get it, because there are certain games that I really enjoy that I do want to get like all the achievements because it's so awesome, and it would be a lot of fun because there are those games where it's like play through the game without killing anyone, or play it destructive and all that kind of stuff. It'd be a lot of fun to see
get
that
a diplomatic victory.
See, I want to put in
because
I want to put in proper achievements like that. Proper challenges. Not just, congratulations, you won the game, so you get a free achievement.
I hear a lot of people say, well, I hear some people say, I hate getting achievements for doing acts in the story. How's that going to work? Is it going to be like, not acts, but like missions? Like you have to do one mission, do another mission, or...
Well, right now we haven't got the single-player story campaign in. But how it will work is essentially each race in the game, each of the standard races has its own little story of what happened to that race in the core storyline, and then once you've completed all of those, there'll be a huge final game where the big bad guys show up, and you have to work together to defeat them.
Okay.
So like the story for the game is essentially that at one point you've got this galaxy just full of lots of races all working together, having their Star Trek style space empires, and
so kind of like what I go to is like the Dune games where you had Arrakis, Harkonnen, and I can't even remember what the third one was. They're just green, but where you had different races and stuff like that. Is there going to be like it kind of all comes to a focal point where you all have to work together, kind of?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, the plot is that this big ancient alien race is discovered. They're in suspended animation on a planet, and someone finds the planet, and these guys start just destroying everything in the galaxy. So
it's one of those things where everyone has to work together to defeat the greater evil.
Yeah, that'll be our final part of the game. Will be that the big bad guys. We're calling them the Revenants. This alien race, you have to work together to somehow defeat them. As in the original plot, all the races get together for a big final battle to try and defeat them, and something goes wrong and random ships get sent back in time, and each one of those ships forms an empire. So you've got a ship from each race land back in time at a random point in the galaxy.
That's really cool.
Thanks. So, I mean, I'm really looking forward to doing the single player for the campaign story for this, because each one of those ships is going to have a story about what happens after it gets sent back in time. It settles on a planet, and then you've got, your empire versus another ship has landed, and they may have different goals than you. Mm-hmm. They may have been, before the war, they may have been really oppressed. So now they're going to take the opportunity to just expand rapidly and take over the galaxy. So all these different interests will clash.
There's obviously going to be a fair bit of replayability just on the single player mode on its own, with getting the different stories for all the different races and playing as them.
Yeah, they should be there. And then obviously you've got your sandbox mode, which is just infinite replayability.
Yeah, of course.
I really hate interviews now. Because it always makes me want to play the game. The game's not out yet. Because now it sounds really, really cool compared to what I was thinking in the beginning. Oh, man.
Don't worry, the combined beta will be out soon.
Yeah, hurry up. I just kickstarted. I want to play it now.
Yeah. Also, I suppose I should mention that as well then. We're actually on Kickstarter a second time. We launched a second Kickstarter that's usually quite controversial, but for us it's not. The second Kickstarter is for an additional feature, which is a 3D ship designer that we wanted to do as one of our original stretch goals, but didn't reach. We were really gutted that we didn't reach it, so we've been looking for alternative funding avenues since then, and we found the Arts Council of Northern Ireland have actually sponsored us for £10,000 toward the ship designer.
Fantastic.
So that was the budget to cover the entire thing. We could get a basic 3D ship designer done with that. So we decided to go on Kickstarter, give people, first of all, another chance just to back us before, as a Kickstarter backer, before the game is released.
Yeah, thank you for doing that, because I didn't have the money before it actually Kickstarted, so it's nice to actually be able to do it again.
Yeah. We got a lot of feedback, actually, from people saying that they'd missed it the first time somehow, or that they just didn't have money because we were closing around Christmas, whereas this time we made sure to extend it over the whole of January to give people the maximum opportunity. And I mean, we only asked for $3,500 this time, because it's basically, the campaign is 100% stretch goals. It's all stretch goals. The first goal was just to add a few extra features to the ship designer, and then we've gone on to add extra stretch goals on top of that.
Yeah, I think whenever I just checked it, it is at $16,075. So you're doing a lot better than $3,500.
That's what's on right now. Yeah, I mean, it's the same as the last time we were on Kickstarter. We're just getting a lot of people just pre-ordering the game, seeing it and saying that they want it, and throwing in their $25 for the pre-order and free DLC for life. It's our most popular option. So I mean, now we've unlocked a couple of stretch goals. We've got, for example, a mirror tool, so you can design ships that will look symmetrical. I mean, you'll be able to design completely your own ship cosmetically, attach different parts to it, and actually, attach different guns to it.
I was watching
ship modules.
The video on Steam of that. I was like, damn, that looks fucking cool.
So,
we're actually. Sorry, go on.
No, sorry. Oh, it's just you saying about being able to design your ship any shape you want. I was just thinking, when you go to planets, do you kind of like beam to the planet, as it were, rather than having to land on it? Because obviously, if you designed a ship that was rubbish in atmosphere, you'd lose it.
Well, yeah, exactly. So for now, what we're going with is that ships are built in orbital space docks. Yeah. So you've got this building that you can build on any colony, one per planet, and it's a ground station for the orbital space dock, and then the space dock will appear above the planet. It's actually in planet mode it'll appear, and you can use that to build ships. So we've kind of just abstracted away the planetary stuff, the atmospheric stuff, and just said all spaceships are spaceships.
Do you have an idea of how many planets are going to be in the game?
Well, right now we've seen a couple of games come out and say that they're going to have, maximum galaxy sizes of thousands of stars.
It's going to be like a real galaxy.
But that's not really playable for an actual game. Yeah. So we'll probably have. We'll obviously have a range of different sizes of galaxies to play in. Like the smallest could be just a handful of stars, a little tiny star cluster. The largest could be hundreds of stars. But I wouldn't try and push it too much beyond that, because that could end up being more than just like a marathon gaming session. That could be
a lifetime gaming session.
Months of play.
Yeah, you want to make it short enough to keep the not so dedicated gamers, the ones that don't want to put like 100 or plus hours into the game, but you want to have enough to keep those other gamers that really like going into a game. And
I think what Brendan's saying is basically you can choose the size of the the star system that you can play in. So if you want a short game, you can have a small amount. Yeah.
I mean, the idea, we wanted to, so the small size of galaxy might take an hour to play through.
Wow.
Whereas the largest one could take literally like weeks. It's completely, we want to leave that open to people.
What is weeks? Because I play a lot of hours in the games in a day.
I mean, if there's enough interest in making a stupid mega 1,000-star system mode, I wouldn't be opposed to letting people mod that in or doing that as a kind of a challenge mode or something. But I mean, the whole game has to last between a certain length of turns. Yeah. Because, obviously you've got things like research and technologies that you unlock throughout the game and stuff that you have to worry about. If the game's too big, then just everyone will end up with all the technologies sooner or later.
Yeah. I'll just put it this way. Me and Dana put over 1,000 hours apiece into Guild Wars, and we can get addicted into games, and we could play them forever.
Yeah, I wish I had the time to do that.
Yeah.
Anymore, but I've sunk hundreds of hours into some games that, oh god, Skyrim. How many hours?
Yeah.
Now, actually, thinking of Skyrim, have you got any future plans for DLC, things like that, or is that just get the game done, think about that in the future if you want to?
Well, right now we're just looking straight ahead to launch, hopefully in March. But we do plan we've already promised to do at least one expansion for the game and at least $25 worth of DLC. That was a promise that we made in our original Kickstarter, in order to make sure that people knew the $25 option of pre-order plus free DLC for life. That's exclusive to Kickstarter is a good deal.
Yeah, I have a question about your DLC.
Yep,
some people do DLC that's literally just cosmetic. Mm-hmm. Is your DLC actually going to be more story or more actual content, or just what?
So that's actually a good question. We're not 100% on exactly what types of DLC we're going to be doing. We'll definitely be doing extra ship parts, ship cosmetic parts for ships, and we'll probably also be doing story missions and challenge missions. For example, a game map that's set up just with loads of enemies, and if you survive, then you win.
So kind of like a horde mode kind of thing?
Different. Yeah, something like that. Actually, some of our backers from the original Kickstarter paid $500 to design their own single player level, and that could be a challenge map if they want. And one of our guys has actually come up with a horde mode where there's just ships charging at you constantly, and you have to try and you get resources each turn, and you have to try and stave them off for a certain number of turns. It's a pretty cool idea. But stuff like that we would like to do as DLC, and obviously we're very led by feedback from fans. So if anyone has any ideas for DLC, we're all ears.
Yeah, once I do the beta stuff, I'll definitely be putting in my, I guess, 2 cents, as it were. But
your feedback.
Cheers.
Yeah, I do understand the whole, the reason of Kickstarter and giving people early access to the games, with trying to help out with the games and everything, is you do want that the people that are interested in it, you do want them to kind of make their voice heard so they can help you help them make the game they want.
I think that's exactly why a lot of people kickstart games, is they want to kind of help make the game, not just buy it when it comes out.
Or you can be just like me and put a bunch of money in the games. I've put a lot of money into Kickstarter.
Yeah, one of them was just so we could get a keyring that made noises. But,
it was not a keyring that made noise. It was a button that talks to you. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's my other thing. Is I like the rewards and stuff that people get for early access and that money. I have a problem. Okay.
No, a lot of people do actually back a lot of projects. Some of our guys have backed dozens and dozens of games. We've backed a couple, 13 now as well. I would love to see happen. But there's been some hate recently for kickstarted games, but it's the only option for some people. For example, for us, we didn't have any other funding avenues. There is no developed games industry here in Northern Ireland.
That's the other
It just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So banks don't know.
Feel like a huge amount of pressure that you don't want to let down the people that have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, these people have put their faith in us to develop the game that we've promised. So I think it's good in a way. It kind of lights a fire under your arse.
It's got to be one of the most stressful parts about it, though, for that way of going down funding. I guess if it was banks or whatever, okay, your credit rating will be screwed, and you might end up being bankrupt. But especially when you've got so much passion behind the genre, and you really want to do this, and you find a load of people that really want you to do it, that's got to be pretty kind of daunting.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially when there's now a lot of other 4X games on the horizon, and there's a new Galactic Civilizations coming out at some point this year.
Won't be anywhere near as good as Predestination.
well, no, but it's a big name, so
yeah.
That's
the thing is, those big games trying to take up the spotlight and all that kind of stuff, which would be cool to see a Civilization.
They've got funding.
Yeah, that's true. They have that kind of crap. It sucks being not like I know anything about it, but being a small developer trying to get their name out there and everything.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's quite difficult trying to make your first game without any funding from previous projects or anything, and especially in a country like this where there's no developed industry.
Yeah.
The banks don't understand game development. I had to explain it to a bank just to open an account.
That's something that you never think about. There
are some. Yeah, you don't really think. We know it's the largest entertainment industry in the world. It's bigger than movies now. Annually, it's financially and growth-wise, it's massive. But it's not. There isn't an industry just everywhere, and it's an increasingly global thing. This is why Kickstarter is such a good tool, because now that it's come to the UK, especially, we have access to a global array of people who want to support game development, and they don't care what country the game comes from.
Yeah,
just as long as it
go ahead.
It gets out there. I can imagine if you lived in London or Guildford, especially Guildford, actually, the amount of software houses and things around there, it probably would have been a lot easier. But then you'd be kind of entrenched in the industry, and you might have found that, that people would have been saying, "Oh no, you can't. No one's going to want this or whatever," and you would have been
never know
at a stranglehold or something. So, but yeah, I'm quite aware you've got an early start in the morning.
Yes.
If you need to wrap up, just say.
Yeah, just let us know. I mean, I can cut anything out that we need to. But, I just want to say, until you said that, I never really knew that, dealing with banks and everything, it's nice to actually learn that kind of stuff where you actually have to deal with these people that are also judging you and everything, and having to try to get other people to help you out just because nobody else wants to help you out. It's kind of like fend for yourself kind of thing.
Very, very much so. It's very difficult to get financing, and even just to get exposure, to get websites to actually write about an indie game is almost impossible.
Yeah.
Next to impossible if it's especially in a genre that's quite niche, like 4X games. But that's why things like Kickstarter are so useful, just because we can put it out there and see, do people want to support it and how much do they want to support it. And so far they've supported it quite a lot, so fingers crossed.
That's the thing, until somebody goes and does a game that they promise so much, or they promise something and nothing happens, then Kickstarter is going to get a lot of flack and everything. People are going to start hating it.
Yeah, I think that's already started to happen. There have been quite a few games now that have projects that have just failed to deliver or cancelled halfway through. And there's no legal repercussions because of the way it's kind of it's set up. It's a pledge. You're not paying for anything. You're not buying anything.
Yeah, you're paying for expectations, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. But that again is just making it so that people expect a lot more from Kickstarters. Back whenever we were launching our first campaign, I cringed. There were a lot of games getting a lot of money thrown at them when all they had was concept art, or some guy on a video talking about how awesome this game idea he has is. And a game idea and an actual finished product are very different things. In some of these cases, these people didn't have the skills required to actually get the game to completion.
I can't say anything because I backed Defense Grid 2, but they had the Defense Grid, or the first Defense Grid to them, so I kind of knew what they were working towards, so I guess it's not that bad, but they didn't have...
Oh yeah, well, if you've got a game behind you, it's a lot easier.
I mean, we've had emails from people that are trying to promote their game on Kickstarter and saying, can you do something about, put us on the show, mention it in the podcast, and we might be able to give you a free copy of the game or whatever. And I'd look at the Kickstarter page and just look at it and think, there's no game here. This is just artwork with an idea.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of that.
And it's do I really want to risk the reputation of the podcast, which maybe isn't great, but for something that may never even see the light of day and then make it worse?
We're amazing. Shut up.
Exactly.
Well, we do have a loyal fan base.
We have, or as he said the other day, we have a loyal fan, which is Teflon. Because we were talking on TeamSpeak the other day. He is the one that sends in tweets and emails on a regular basis, so that's nice.
But we do have quite a few other listeners, so hopefully they might actually listen to this and think, oh, I like the sound of that. Unfortunately, quite a lot of them do play on the old 360, so sorry about that, guys. But is there anything you want to finish up with?
I would just say that the Predestination 3D Ship Designer Kickstarter, which is now the last way to pre-order the game, has 3 days left on it. I don't know how long it'll have left whenever this actually goes out.
It'll be finished, and I still won't have any money to.
I will try as hard as possible. Since you mentioned that earlier, I'll try as hard as possible to get this out tomorrow. So pretty much, if I get out tomorrow, people are gonna have a day. So as soon as you listen to this podcast, you better be going on that Kickstarter and backing them.
Well, what we'll do is we'll put up a PayPal page with all the same rewards for anyone who just missed the end of the campaign as well.
Oh, that's cool.
We'll keep that up for a couple of weeks, I think.
I think did you do something similar with the previous Kickstarter?
Yeah, we did something similar, and we
because I think that's
for
how
the
I bought my
limited
2
rewards.
copies. Yeah.
And then we changed that to just straight pre-orders. So now we'll put back up the all of the other tiers as well.
Fantastic.
But thanks for having us on the
That's
podcast.
Absolutely fine. Just so that everyone knows what URLs, where can people get hold of you if they want to send you a message on Twitter or whatever.
Your website,
all that kind of
and
stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, all you gotta do is on Kickstarter. You just need to look up Predestination. But tell everyone your website and
I'm
stuff.
sure Brendan.
The Kickstarter that's up right now is called Predestination 3D Ship Designer. If you find the original one that's just Predestination, that will have closed. The website is predestinationgame.com, and pre-order our game. Thanks.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, and I am really looking. Oh, one quick thing. What games other than yours, obviously, are you looking forward to coming out in the next year or so? Well, in this year.
Oh, hands down, Elite Dangerous. I mean, I was a massive fan of Frontier growing up.
I've never heard of that game.
I mean, it's a space. It's like a space sandbox with a whole procedurally generated galaxy, and I love me some procedural generation.
Yeah, I mean, the first one when it came out was, okay, by today's standards, the graphics terrible, but the fact that it was so huge was incredible for its time.
I mean, an entire galaxy on a floppy disk. Actually, 8 galaxies on a floppy disk.
Oh, that looks awesome.
I'm so looking forward to it. I mean, that's the kind of game that I wanted to make before I decided to go for a 4X game and, try and make a proper spiritual successor to Master of Orion.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad someone else is actually going for it. And that it's actually the original. It's David Braben.
Yeah. What about Star Citizen?
I think Star Citizen is a bit of a waste of money. I think a lot of people have thrown a lot of money at it. They're now at 37 million and counting. Now, funding is obviously slowed down in the last couple of months, but I don't know why people are throwing so much money at it. I don't think it should not cost that much to make the type of game that they're pitching, especially when Elite Dangerous is working with a much smaller budget of a couple of million.
That's the thing we were talking about in the last podcast is when that game comes out, it better be the best damn game I've ever seen in my life. For that much money,
I think people are going to be a little bit disappointed with it when it comes out. But then again, people who have already backed it will probably quite like it. I mean, they know their own minds. They obviously liked it enough, like even the concept enough to put the money in.
Oh, I just like the Wing
I love
Commander
the concept.
games.
I'm just not gonna.
So I'm kind of excited.
I'm not gonna buy it.
Yeah, it's got a good pedigree.
Yeah, but no Mark Hamill this time, as far as I can tell. But yeah, I'm gonna wait until it actually comes out before I actually give them any money.
I don't know. I like kickstarting kind of stuff, so I may give them a little bit.
Well, a lot of the stuff that they give out is just cosmetic. There's ships and stuff, but you can also buy them in game. So I wouldn't pay money for them.
Anyway,
no,
thank you so much.
First thing, I've been wanting to ask this. Now you said it was coming out in March this year, or you're thinking?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
We're aiming for March. If that doesn't, if we get delays and we can't put it out in March, we'll obviously put an update up on the Kickstarters and the blog about that, just to let people know what's happening.
That's nothing about the Kickstarter that's really nice is once you send something out, like you get a little, or you get an email to yourself.
Yeah, you get updates.
That let you know. Yeah, let you know the updates to the game and everything.
I'm guessing you're not going to release it until you're ready to release it.
Exactly. I mean, what we're doing is I don't think anyone
would begrudge you that at all. I know I certainly wouldn't. I'm fed up of playing games that aren't actually finished.
I've seen some people complain about like early access and stuff, but we kind of need that as a small developer. We need that feedback. So we're going to do our final combined beta of all the gameplay and then just iterate on it until people say, yes, this is ready to release.
I don't mean like playing betas and stuff like that. I'm quite happy doing that because I know it's a beta and I'm fine with that. But I mean, you know, a lot of these AAA games that come out and
they're not finished. They're like, we'll patch it. It'll be
bits
fine.
of them quite often straight up don't work, and you're like, you know, this was a full price game.
Yeah.
Why isn't it finished? You wouldn't go to a movie and watch it, and then a little sign came out saying, "Sorry, we didn't edit this bit properly."
Never heard that. That's funny as hell.
But somehow it's acceptable in video games, and I've had enough of it. You know, Batman Arkham Origins, there was a whole bit that kind of broke the game for me because I couldn't do one of the bits I wanted to do. And it took them ages to fix it.
Let's go back to cartridge games where they had to have the game completed.
Well, yeah, but even back then they didn't always have the game completed.
It wasn't completed, it just had bugs and shit. But, like, I guess that's another thing to say is, you know, because you said the whole Kickstarter or, you know, playing the game before it's out and everything, early access stuff, you guys don't have the money to pay people that are, you know, game testers and everything. So it's nice to have.
Really don't.
Yeah, it's nice to have all those gamers that are willing to spend the time and play a game that's not finished and help out with that, with the feedback and everything. Exactly. So it's not like, you know, people shouldn't go and say, "Oh, this game sucks." You know, I played this, or I played this right now, and you know, nobody should get it because it just doesn't work. You know, they need to get the feedback and say, "Oh, this didn't work and this didn't work. Could you fix this?"
There's one thing though that I think gamers are quite good at when you know, most people know the difference between a beta, an alpha, a beta, and the final release.
And there are some people that don't understand that, but a lot of people that do that, I think do the majority, it very well.
Yeah, and the majority in this genre are going to understand that, you know, it's a small company and they're trying to.
Yeah. You know, we don't have the funding to just push out a polished game immediately. It will need some feedback from people. 30, 40, 50 testers. You know, you're doing the testing that you can yourself in your small little, you know, group. Sorry, I keep saying small little company. How many people are actually involved in making this? And then we'll finish up. I think it's about 8 or 9 now total, but most of it is most of the development, programming is me, and we also have another programmer now who's working on the 3D ship designer. Yeah, and then we've got the artists are all contracted. So I mean, we really don't have a budget to work with. We have very, very small amount of money that this game's being made on. It's actually one of the reservations people had about our original Kickstarter was we set a goal of $25,000.
People are like, well,
it's a very
really?
small goal.
That's small? Yeah.
But we hope to prove people wrong on that, and I think our 2 betas that we've put out already do a good job of that, and hopefully the third seals the deal.
I just think it's so insane that, you know, so few people can make a game that looks so good, and then you'll have other companies that have hundreds of people or 100 people or so
put out Aliens, Colonial
Marines. We'll go with that. But you have you know, people or companies with so many people and still can't put out a game that looks I will not say it looks, but plays as good as games that, you know, have fewer people. I guess because you have those people that, you know, you have a small company and you're really, you know, they're like, oh, they're so dedicated to what they're doing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, this game is my baby. I mean, it's been properly in development since a while before the first Kickstarter, but I've been working on the engine for years and, you know, doing little pieces of code and working on procedural generation and all this stuff. So this is pretty much my entire, you know,
everything.
Adult life.
My entire adult life. University on has been. I want this game. I want to play this game. This is the kind of game I would love someone to have made, and no one's done it yet. So I'm going to do it myself.
And that's the best thing about being an indie developer is, you know, you are the person making you're the person making the game, and you want to make a game that you want.
Exactly, and the rest of the team as well. I wouldn't be able to do it without those guys. I mean, you've met Tina as well. Tina just keeps everything on track. She's the reason that the game will be out this year and not next year.
Yeah, we were hoping. I should tell everyone we're hoping to get Tina on as well, but unfortunately her computer is.
Wasn't Tina a voice on a recent indie game?
Yes, she was in the Huntsman.
What was it called? I actually reviewed it.
You say the Huntsman? That's where I heard of the game.
The Huntsman. Yeah,
that game was.
Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah, something like the Huntsman. Huntsman, the Orphanage.
Yeah, that was it. Huntsman,
that game was creepy as hell.
Tina's one of the creepy voices on that.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's fantastic to be able to work with our small team to pump out something that I think is quite good quality. We'll let fans decide.
I guess a big plus about it is, with such a small team, you can be quite flexible and change stuff that needs to be done, and you don't need to tell hundreds of people that actually this bit's not being in anymore, or this bit's being changed.
I could think it'd be even more stressful just to have, I guess, it'd be control over so many people.
Well, yeah.
Don't know.
The hail has just started again, so I'm probably going to lose my power. Again,
hopefully not.
All right. Well,
so yeah, thank you ever so much for spending your time.
Having me.
Absolute pleasure. And I think it's safe to say that we're really looking forward to it, and we look forward to hearing more. Hopefully, we can do something where we can get some updates and post them up on the site and stuff. Definitely.
Yeah, hopefully we can get some people. Listen to the podcast to back it.
Yeah. Or just some people listening to the podcast. Okay, well, thank you very much. And look forward to your results. To your game, even. Okay, welcome back. We're coming up to the tail end of the show, and we're going to start off with last week's Quest of the Week, actually. We had one entry, I believe, Gary.
Yay!
That was
which means one winner right now.
Yeah, one winner from our Uber fan, Teflon 212. Thank you very much, sir. What did he win in the end? I think you gave him a couple of things.
Rise of the Triad.
Yeah, I sent him Rise of the Triad because I said the first person that answers gets that game, so you got that. And, well, since he's the first one to say anything and the only person to say anything, he actually gets the first win for the competition. So he has won his first pick of any of the games that I put up, and I will, I guess I'll name him again. Let me pull up my inventory real quick. And the games I am giving away are DMC Devil May Cry, Metro Last Light, Bioshock Infinite, Tomb Raider, and Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. So whatever game he picks, he gets first. And we also have two other people that can win. So I'm not going to say the next two people that answer, but the next people that answer, say 10, 12, 100, because we have so many listeners to this, whoever answers will get their shot at winning game. And I didn't add into this. I still have to find it because I'm so damn lazy, and my games are all packed away in a box right now. I'm also giving away the physical PAL edition, which works in any system, any PS3 system. Ni no Kuni. So I would say that is a game that people that are into that type of genre and everything should play. So, if we can get some answers in, and whoever would like it, please answer. And the cat just made a fucking groan like he's gonna murder someone. Anyway,
yeah. So,
but yeah, answer and we will definitely have you in for a contest, and you can win.
So if you want the chance of winning one of those games, you have to answer our question of the week, which this week Josh is going to tell us. We'll ask the question. What is it, sir?
What is going to be the biggest fail of 2014?
Yeah. What is going to be the game that doesn't make the money that was, expected to make, really does flop? Loads of people were hyped about Aliens Colonial Marines, and there was a shit ton of people pre-ordering it. Okay, well, we're getting towards the end, so we've had one email this week, and we haven't heard a huge amount from Josh this show, so I'm going to make you read it out, sir.
Hey guys, it's me, Teflon.
Yeah.
Is that like tampon?
No, it's
Yes.
misspelling of the stuff that you get in like WD-40.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Lube sprays. Yeah.
I never knew Teflon
So he's
was
like
in
a
that.
lube,
Teflon's
got
like
it.
And the non-stick surface on frying pans and
Okay.
the like. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the show and hearing more about Predestination. I've never played a 4X strategy game before, but as a fan of strategy games in general, I'm looking forward to playing this one. By the time you read this, I will most likely have already backed their current Kickstarter. I have probably watched all the videos on this game at least twice, and one of the aspects I'm really excited about is the 3D ship designer. I can't think of any questions for the developer interview because it's late and I'm exhausted. Lazy. I just wanted to drop a line to say how excited I am for this game and really can't wait to play it. I also wanted to tell you guys that I love the show and keep up the good work. Cheers, Jason.
Well, thank you very much, sir. I hope you don't mind that we put that after the interview, but I know they're going to listen to it, so that's all. Okay, the old hashtag TGM checks. We've had a few in this week, and I might as well start off with this one. And it's from, funny enough, it's from Teflon, 21-2 or 212 or 212, depending on how you're reading it. He says, at the Gamesmen RPG, hashtag the Gamesmen check. Finished up Sleeping Dogs, loved it. That game is fantastic, much maligned, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. He didn't say all that, I've just added that in. Just bought the Banner Saga, and I'm looking forward to starting it soon.
That's unfortunate. That game looks terrible.
I need to play Sleeping Dogs. I still haven't done it yet.
It's like awesome. It's like GTA, except you have jujitsu and awesome stuff like that.
Yeah, it's got some of the best hand-to-hand combat in a sandbox game that I've ever played.
I know. I just need to do it.
I picked it up like a year ago for like $4.99. So
yeah, Mr.
Yeah, well, I picked it up for about $5.
Did you buy it?
I think it was during the summer sale. Yes, I did buy it.
Well, you should really play it sometime. I think you'll enjoy it. Anyway,
I'm sure I will.
The next one.
Oh. Yes.
Next one is from @MrJSSLifelike, hashtag all that stuff. Lightning Returns demo. Awesome. More Tales of Xillia and Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, free on PS Plus.
Yes, which he actually told me today he 100%ed, so.
I'd sure hope so. It's only 3 hours.
Yeah, it's a great game. I missed a bit.
I love it.
I think I lost a couple of achievements because I didn't explore quite enough.
Yeah. I think it looked a bit guide. Anyway, I will do the next one, and that is The Wife. How do I get these all the time? @Pebbles91010. Hashtag TGM check. I've been playing this new game called Grimm. It's actually entertaining in a screwed up Fairy Tale Way. Also, still playing Disney Infinity and almost have all the characters. I'm loving it.
Okay, the next one is from OMG. It's Betty. And she says, I've been playing Candy Crush. Hashtag TGM. That's terrible.
Yay!
First, she's playing the new night expansion, which is awesome.
Why, possibly?
What? They have an expansion for that shit? Oh, God.
Okay, I guess just the final end bit now. Well, I say the final end bit. Nearly the end bit. Shout outs, Josh. Hit me.
Shout outs. I don't really have any, but I'd really like to thank Brendan for being on the show. That was a really awesome interview, actually. I didn't know that much about the game, and we got to hear a lot of cool stuff about Predestination, so definitely.
Oh, yeah, I learned a lot.
Cool.
That's all I got for shout-outs this week.
Gary?
Yeah, I'd like the shout out Brendan too. It was very, very awesome talking to him on the show and learning all the different stuff about Predestination. It makes me really want the game a lot more now. And I hate interviewing people because it helps me so damn much with wanting to play the game. Especially since I kickstarted it, and it sounds like a lot of fun. But other than that, I don't really have anything to actually say. I guess it's on to you, Dan.
Well, yeah, thank you. Shout out to Teflon212 for actually emailing us and doing all that stuff and trying to figure out a conversation and yet failing. And a question and yet failing. And of course, to Tina Laura, otherwise known as at Purple Tina Beans on Twitter, and to Brendan for being on the show. See, Tina couldn't make it. I don't actually know Brendan's Twitter handle, so I can't actually say it. So terribly sorry, old chap. But yeah, thank you all for contributing to this tiny little podcast. Okay, web for the week to come. Where can we get you, Gary?
I will be on Steam at Emerson _89, press Skype Emerson _89. Definitely the TeamSpeaks. If you want to get in on our TeamSpeak server, which is hosted by Mr. Rabbit Scotsman. But that's really it for me. Where can we find you, Josh?
You can find me on the PSN at Yoda the Third, spelled out. Not Xbox, Steam, Yoda Third, Twitters, all that stuff. Skype, Yoda Third. I'm on Skype every night, so feel free to hit me up. Might not talk to you, but I might. And if you're on Battlefield, I will take your tags. Dan, where can we find you during the week?
Okay, yeah. When's the week to come? I am basically Hardlydan everywhere. Have a look for me on whatever you want. Ideally Twitter and Steam. That's where I seem to spend most of my time at the moment. Also in Raptor, if I'm in a non-Steam game. That's always a good place to check me out there. See if I've been kicking your ass in certain games, stuff like that. But yeah, that's Hardlydan. Put it in. Don't bother with the consoles because I haven't got any or can't afford Xbox Live. So yeah.
Just add him. He'll eventually get back whenever he actually gets a free month of Xbox Live.
It does happen occasionally. I remember, I've had a few friends that bought me a year.
Oh, I'm sure I'd give it to you if I ever got it.
Yeah, but also if I actually wanted it. There's one game that I like playing on Xbox Live, and that's Burnout Revenge. So it's hardly worth it for one game, really, is it? Anyway, actually, we haven't made Josh do the clean-up bit. Do you want to do it, Josh?
What?
The whole end bit with the Facebook emails, Twitter.
Sure, I'll do that. Why not?
Okay, well,
you can come find us on Facebook. There's no link to it, but whatever.
Yeah, just put the Gamesmen into Facebook and you'll probably find us. Well, the Gamesmen RPG. Yeah.
We want more voicemails, damn it. Call us at the RPG hotline. There's some really sexy people over there that'll answer your call. At 412-267-RPG1. Again, that is 41227 RPG1.
Yeah, I get the thing sent to my phone, so I will know whenever you send it.
Email us at thegamesmenrpg@gmail.com. Submit MP3s or voicemails. Twitter account is thegamesmenrpg on Twitter. New followers: Kassar, Michael, Total Gaming, Keep the Air Alive, and Omo Gets Betty. You can also listen on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thegamesmenrpg. And do not forget to send in your TGM checks for our next show, which we will read on the air every show.
Well, thank you very much, guys. I am Hardlydan. We have been the Gamesmen on behalf of Yoda the Third and Amorous89. We are the Gamesmen, and until next time, we ask,
what role will you play?